Which scene in a film disturbed you the most? The Fly. When the lady is having a baby and a giant maggot is born. Turns my stomach. The part where he's crawling around on the ceiling had me freaking the fuck out as a 10-year-old. I had a vaulted ceiling in my bedroom. And even with a nightlight on, it was still dark up there. Every night for about a month I went to bed imagining him chilling up there in the shadows waiting for me to close my eyes. There's a scene in a horror/thriller film called Mirrors. The plot is basically there's another dimension in anything reflective, and they're evil for the most part. It's been over a decade since I've seen it, I'm sure, where a woman looks at her reflection in the mirror before getting in the bath. As she leaves the mirror, her reflection remains there. Couple of minutes later, she's chilling in the bath and the mirror version of her just starts ripping its own jaw open, which in turn forces the woman's jaw open in the bath. And she cannot do anything about it to stop it, and just has to let her jaw get torn to shreds as the bathtub fills with blood. It is brutal. OMG, I forgot about that one. Yup, terrifying. I saw that scene when I was 9, was terrified of mirrors for a while after that, and couldn't sleep easily. This still haunts me. The movie is Saw 2, and it's the part where the big guy doesn't want to do his challenge, so he throws that girl into a pit of dirty needles. Can't think of many things that could be worse. This is honestly the first thing that came to my mind. I've seen that movie a couple of times, and that scene is one of the very few scenes in any movie that I will physically cover my eyes for, because I just can't watch it. We were soldiers when they carpet bombed too close and several soldiers caught on fire. Then when they lifted up the guy and his legs peeled. Less graphic, but that scene where the two guys are in a foxhole in the dark and one guy mentions being able to smell the enemy, followed by an illumination round being fired over them, and you see they are surrounded by NVA, was nuts. The most powerful moment in that movie for me was them washing the blood out of the helicopters and sending them back in. The waves of red pouring out the side in slow motion is just a beautiful, horrifying moment. Event Horizon. The hell recording showing terrible things. I don't believe in supernatural stuff, but that scene sticks with me. I saw Event Horizon one afternoon in an almost empty theater. There was another lone guy sitting a few rows ahead of me. A couple of times during the movie he turned around and made some comment to me about how scary it was. Almost like he needed not to feel alone. He finally got up and left. Was it when he was fucking crawling through the tunnel? I don't remember. But I do remember thinking the other patron had made it this far into the movie. So why leave now? Someone behind him would be unsettling in empty theater watching horror flick. In the British nuclear apocalypse movie, Threads, the whole movie after the bombings, that film stayed with me for far too long. It's been over 30 years, and I still have nightmares. Once you see someone trade a BJ for dead rats hanging in a guy's coat, you just aren't the same person anymore. Zodiac. When he's stabbing the couple at Lake Berryessa, the lack of any music while hearing their screams is disturbing. The movie did an accurate job with portraying everything based from the witness/survivor accounts. There's audio of the boyfriend that survived that stabbing, and the 911 operator who spoke to the killer, as well as a reading of the mother who was picked up by him, and they all say he was calm and well spoken. That alone creeps the fuck out of me. Before I kill you, I'm going to throw your baby out the window. Apostrophe. Oh my gosh, that made the hair stand up on my arms. Imagine getting in the car and hearing that. Stuff like that didn't scare me as a teen, but as an adult who, rightfully, fears strangers/creepy people, that is just so scary. I think as I got older I became less spooked by supernatural stuff and more spooked by things that could actually happen. In Return to Oz, where the girl is strapped to the table, and when you see all those freestanding heads lining the walls. That movie is one of the most trippy and fucked up movies, and it boggles my mind that it was marketed to children. Those motorcycle guys freak me out the most for some reason. Beware the Wheelers. The Wheelers are horrifying. The bit when that guy blinds a kid by pouring burning oil into his eyes in Slumdog Millionaire. Never forget, this movie was advertised as the feel-good movie of the year, and the trailers mostly showed the dancing sequence, which was nothing more than a bonus scene hidden away during the credits, if I remember correctly. What a depressing film. Holy shit, my mom and I went to see it together after being told by multiple people it was so cute and such a feel good movie. Fuck all of them. We both cried through most of the film and decided never to talk to those people about movies again. There's a scene from the movie The Road where the father and his son discover a room full of chained, naked people waiting to be eaten by the cannibals living in the house, and then they run away and they get chased by the cannibals. That scene really traumatized me when I was young. I remember crying so hard when I watched that movie edit. I swear my parents are not bad people lol. I don't remember exactly since it's been like 10 years, but I'm sure if they knew how intense that movie was, they would not have let me watch it /view 200D. Also I was like 13 to 14. Not 8 or something, haha. The scene I always remember the most was when they were hiding in the bathroom and he pulled out his gun with his one bullet and held it to his son's head because he knew that if they were discovered that it was the only thing he could do. Not the most classically disturbing imagery, but being a father myself I think about that scene a lot. It was a great film, but I would likely not watch it again. That was the most gut-wrenching part for me too. Imagining being either party, the son or the dad, in that scenario is bleak as fuck. The movie The Lobster stands out to me. Spoiler / disturbing / suicide warning. The premise, from what I remember, of the movie is society mandates marriage. If you don't marry you are sent to a hotel, where you have 30 days to meet your spouse. If you don't, you are turned into an animal. First would be when a depressed lady was introduced and tries to get with the main character. Cause she only had a few days left to partner up. She mentions she might kill herself if she doesn't, but is worried, cause her room is only on the 3rd or 4th floor. A few scenes later the main character is having some serious dialogue with a lady who is known for being cruel and heartless, whom he is trying to court. The lady from earlier, at this point, jumps out her window and is visibly bleeding out and screaming in agony just feet away from the two in dialogue. Because he is acting cruel to impress this other lady and she is pretty evil to begin with, they completely ignore what just happened. I kid you not, it's like a nearly 2-minute scene of serious dialogue while this lady is in the background dying in pain. More spoilers. And then later in the movie she kills his dog who is also his brother. Such a disturbingly wacky movie. The movie totally knocks the social commentary out of the park. But it is hard to enjoy. Doesn't just kill a dog. Kicks it to death. There is still blood all over her shoes. Just watched The Lobster this last weekend. Knew the odd premise, but wasn't prepared for the oddness of everything else. When Denethor ate the tomato, there's scary stuff. There's disturbing stuff. There's images that can scar someone for life, and then, above all of those, there's close-up shots of people eating. Oh, probably the scene in Hannibal where Anthony Hopkins cooks the guy's brain and feeds it to him. Same movie, different scene, when the disformed guy remembers Hannibal giving him poppers. And then, a piece of glass with instructions to escape now if you want to, cut his own face and feed it to the dogs. It didn't leave me for years. The longer I get from this scene I feel better. The dude was a sadistic pedophile who showed no remorse, so I have conflicting feelings. I believe it was Human Centipede 2. Pregnant woman pretends to be dead, is discarded to the side of the room, waiting for her chance to escape. Goes into labor, obviously can't continue playing dead, screams and runs, is discovered by Centipede Dude, manages to get herself into a car as baby pops out. Lady smashes baby's head under the pedal as she slams the gas pedal down attempting to escape. I don't watch horror movies anymore. Holy fuck, that description is gruesome. If I'm remembering it correctly, the scene is 100% graphic too. There's no cut away from the gas pedal before she puts her foot down. It shows everything. It's been several years since I watched that movie, but I remember it randomly every now and again. It's honestly one of those scenes I wish I could just forget seeing. Fuck, I wish I could forget reading it. I'm done with this thread now. Yeah, I actually has to watch that train spotting scene cause I was curious about this. I will not watch this. Why would anyone want to watch that? The eye-sewing shenanigans in Coraline. That movie was the horror movie for kids. I hear the book is even more horrifying. Part of the reason the book is creepier is that YB doesn't exist. He was added to the movie so it wouldn't be Coraline talking to herself. In the context of the book, that means that a good portion of the book is a lost, scared little girl talking to herself, trying to maintain her sanity in the face of unimaginable, otherworldly horrors. That's a really interesting perspective. I never even thought of that. Damn. Yes, every scene YB is there. In the book, she's alone. Makes it much more terrifying. That scene in Pinocchio where the boy turns into a donkey, right? And that's never addressed. The country's entire population of young boys is being kidnapped, experiencing ultimate body horror, and then being sold into slavery. And at the end of the movie all of that is still happening. Nobody is rescuing those kids. Geppetto doesn't give a crap. Because he's got his real boy. Why isn't Jiminy Cricket screaming in Pinocchio's ear about the donkey holocaust? Is that what happens? I didn't watch the movie. Just that scene and always assumed that Pinocchio would save the day or something. Nope. The movie's explicit messages, little boys who misbehave are jackasses and deserve whatever bad things happen to them. Mr. Disney, what about the other boys on the island? Shouldn't someone save them? Taking a deep drag from his cigarette, slowly blows out the smoke. Ever hear of restitution for sin? But they're just boys. Also, you let Pinocchio have a happy ending. Doesn't that send mixed messages? As he walks to the door to leave, stops and takes a drag from his cigarette. Leave them. Flicks the cigarette and exits through the door. Shudder. This was so horrifying to me at the time, because I was so young when I watched it, but the last scene in Cannibal Holocaust where the cannibals assaulted and attacked one of the film crew has just stayed with me since. Wasn't there some sort of investigation, because the movie seemed too realistic? Wasn't there controversy over them actually killing some animals on screen? That part with the giant turtle was fucked. Yeah, that turtle actually died. It's been a while since I've seen that movie and have no interest in watching it again. I believe the actor deeply regretted that scene. Although 6 animal deaths appear on screen, 7 animals were killed for the production, as the scene depicting the monkey's death was shot twice, resulting in the death of 2 monkeys. Both of the animals were eaten by indigenous cast members, who consider monkey brains a delicacy. The animals that were killed on screen were a coyote, mistaken for a muskrat in the film, killed with a knife, a large turtle, decapitated and its limbs, shell, and entrails removed, a tarantula, killed with a machete, a boa constrictor, also killed with a machete, a squirrel monkey, decapitated with a machete, a pig, shot in the head with a .22 caliber rifle at point blank range. If you are new to Tattletale TV, please subscribe. We have new videos every day. Stay tuned for more coming up next.